Hello everyone, welcome to a big edition of In the Box Seat with news coming through that the Star Magic Millions race day will remain here at Aquis Park, Gold Coast. I'm joined by Paul Joice, Alan Cohen. Let's go through what has unfolded in the last week since we recorded.
What hasn't unfolded since we recorded?
It seems like it's been about 4 weeks since we last sat down together, but it has only been 7 days. And look, the good news is we're racing on the Gold Coast track.
And also the good news about last week was that the meeting was able to proceed. The Sunlight race meeting went off without a hitch at the Sunshine Coast. Terrific by everyone involved. Of course, Friday night there was text, there was some people turned their phone off. Not a bad thing to do actually in hindsight. But for everyone to get that meeting pushed through at the 7 o'clock Friday night, and you wouldn't have even known.
No, it was an unbelievable effort logistically to get it off the ground and run and won, and have that now that we have the 7 days leading into the big one. So it was important they ran it. Sunshine Coast Turf Club, obviously, outstanding effort by them to get themselves together so quickly. And just even from truck drivers, that drove floats from here to there. It's a horrible drive. We all know that. But it had to be done, and had to get 100-odd horses up there, and they did. And the track raced well, and the quality of racing was what stood out to me. Like we've seen probably a Group 1 winner in Private Harry. Cosmic Fire, who won the consolation prize. If he's not a group horse, he might even take out the Guineas here on Saturday. And then the whole meeting just had that class feel to it, which I think next year, run here, is just going to be enormous.
Obviously, the races were amazing up at the Sunny Coast, but we did hold the live site here on the Gold Coast, which was also incredible. We had the likes of Darryl Braithwaite here performing horses, Amy Sharp, Mashton Kutcher. The Gold Coast really stuck around. We created a vibe, we created a buzz, obviously watching all those races live on TV as well. So everyone who did come out and still attended, thank you for supporting the club. It was an amazing, it's not what we were expecting. However, it was what we did produce was phenomenal by all means.
As they say, the show must go on, and it did at both venues. But you're right, Joycey, the race meeting itself, this 2-day carnival, is really going to take off in years to go by. The Sunlight, the first edition, couldn't have wished for a better field. The race lived right up to it. I think the Syndicates found a good spot to take second billing behind the Sunlight. The Wave was a competitive race, great finish between Miss Jolene and Coda. The support program. So that day one of the carnival in that twilight setting is going to be a winner for years to go. As we sort of press on, we best start focusing in now on this Saturday, the main event. The Magic Millions 2-year-old Classic, plus the 3-year-old Guineas, plus the support program. As we said at the top of the show, we got the tick-off this morning after 6 horses galloped on that over 1,000 metres and went over that section that was damaged last week. And everyone gave it the thumbs up. So we will be here Saturday. Of course, the weather, Paul, is 50-50. There's that chance of storms or showers. 3 mil, 30 mil, 300 mil. How would you know with the bomb? But that's sort of what we're dealing with at this time of year. We've had showers sort of off and on this morning, but not too much because they hit and they go pretty quick. That's probably the best outcome with the showers.
Yeah, I think if you're a punter, look, probably do your form for a soft track, because we could get into the heavy range if we get a lot of rain on the day. We could be on the better side of soft if we don't get a lot of rain on the day, because this track, let's face it, it's been redeveloped to handle rain. So it really doesn't matter how much falls up until race day. It's what happens once those first race starts, and we've got to get through a massive card. So if it rains then, of course, we're going to have a wet track. So I'd just be doing your form for a soft, give yourself a little bit of leeway to move either way. And that's the way I'll be approaching it.
But of course, as you mentioned, Paul, this track has been built for this. The redevelopment has happened. We've spent, Racing Queensland, we've spent so much money into the drainage systems, everything. So for all those worried, the weather worrying you, this is what it's been built for. So we press ahead this Saturday and look forward to an amazing day. So there are some tickets still available. Event Centre, if you do want to get some hospitality, get into the Event Centre. And of course, general admission is always open. Everyone who wants to come along. Breaking news, we've got Barnsey and that will be attending, and along with Ronan Keating. So the entertainment continues. Gold didn't get all the love. Magic Millions, we will have 2 stars here performing as well.
Yeah, no, if I wasn't calling the meeting, I'd still be coming out because I'm a big Barnesy.
Yeah,
I must admit.
I reckon there'll be a
I
lot
did
of...
go and see Cold Chisel not that long ago here at the Gold Coast. So I'm
you got
looking
him
forward
just
to
ahead
that.
of, who was he, DJ, what's his name? From last week?
Dom Dollar.
Well,
Yeah,
there was Mashton Kutcher last week, and so this week we've pulled out some Aussie classics.
That's it. More of Mitch's.
Mitch's. No, it's almost like I pulled some strings there to get Barnesy, but Ronan Keating as well. So,
Yes.
and that's another aspect of the Magic Millions Carnival that we're starting to see build as well. These artists,
absolutely,
entertainment,
things we
really
haven't had in the past.
Yeah.
It's been we've had entertainment, of course, but names like this, it's a first. So we're very, very excited.
Just before we get into finding a winner or two and having a look at the 2 and 3-year-old races, a big thanks to all involved on behalf of the Gold Coast Turf Club. Liam O'Keefe, it was a late-minute call-up for him to fly up from his role at the VRC to lend a helping hand. New turf, massive pat on the back to Jody Rogers and all the track staff. They've done a wonderful job to get this problem and to get us into a position that we're racing. It was, I think, all of our hearts sunk on Thursday afternoon, Friday morning. So to everyone who was involved in that process, it was tricky, but we're in a position to race on Saturday. So whoever has come to the party to help the Gold Coast Turf Club, we can't be more thankful for it. Now, here's the trick part. Let's find a winner.
It is tricky too, because it's $5.50 the field in the Star 2-year-old Classic, and it's $5.50 the field in the Gold Coast 3-year-old Guineas.
Yeah.
So not often, especially in 2-year-old racing, you very rarely get a grand final without a clear-cut favour or a couple of real standouts. We don't have that. So it's making it tricky, but in a way, I like it because it gives you a chance to find some value. And I think anyone who comes and has a bet on the race is going to have a pretty live ticket when those barriers are.
Yeah, you're looking at, as you said, $5, $6 the field.
Yep.
I'd be surprised if you've got a favourite shorter than that. It'd have to be really heavily backed on the day.
No.
So what are you settling upon in the 2-year-old?
Well, the barrier draw shook me a little bit at first because Icarian Dream was always my filly going into the race. I think the BJ McLaughlin form is the strongest form I could find, and she was dominant winning that. We said we haven't seen a dominant 2-year-old, but that was about as dominant as you could get. Obviously, she comes from back off speed, which is a bit unusual for a 2-year-old as well, the opposite of what Stormboy did last year, but there's a lot of speed on paper in this race. Yep. I think the wide barrier should come from 16, and at this stage, I don't think you want to overthink that because we're not sure where they're going to be coming from. Are they going to be up on the fence? Do they want to be getting in the middle of the track? So just see what happens on the day. I think if they're starting to come down the middle or they're just racing across the track in general, that barrier won't be such a hindrance for her because of her racing style. I think Jason called her a rider cold. Yeah. He's a very patient rider and she's got that electrifying turn of foot, which we saw up at Eagle Farm. So I'm going to stick with her, but there's a lot of other chances, obviously. Mitch, what are you thinking?
Again, the barrier draw, I was sort of leaning towards Memo, and then
she's come up with the opposite.
Inside gate, and I'm just worried that she'll end up fall back the fence. I've ended up with Gallo Nero. I just was taken with his Sydney win. The Hawks stable are not too sort of...
They're not regulars.
No, at the Gold Coast. So they've earmarked this fellow. He's coming in off good form. He just seems that improving type. Third up. He hasn't had an overtaxing preparation. Drew's soft to probably sit, fourth, fifth, sixth, just in behind the speed. I think he'll be there late. Now I hear on the grapevine you're going to keep him sweet with the big boss.
Absolutely. It's also
the boss's wife.
Also the boss's wife. I'm keeping in good with Kylie. I was at the barrier draw on Tuesday and it was the sea of women behind me screaming and cheering.
Yes, they can scream.
They really can make some noise. So I really hope that Vain Girl does come through because hearing those ladies in the mounting yard, if that horse wins, it's going to be electric. I'm really excited for them. Obviously the racing women's bonus up for offer there. So I'm going to stick with Vain Girl, but also have to mention Invincible Woman. Yep. We interviewed Lloyd Kennywell and Lizzie Jelfs earlier in the week on their contender Invincible Woman. Also, favourite last time I checked.
Yeah, she's favourite at the moment. Yeah. I'm interested. I don't think she'll start favourite. I have a feeling. I just think people are going to take on that Melbourne form. We just haven't seen much come through. Her trial here was good without being great. Yeah. And I just have a feeling punters may start to look elsewhere. So it'll be interesting to see how that market sort of develops on race day.
The 3-year-old, just as open.
Oh, just as open. It's like $6 a field in the 3-year-old. And again, as I said, you can have small bets, look for value, you know, which suits the smaller punter who is out here having a fun day. A couple that I think are big odds. I think Hella Fast is crazy odds at $26. Great run in the Vorogue. I backed it that day. Thought it probably should have won. Just found a bit of bother. Has come up with the best draw. Has already proven on a wet track. Kelly Schweida loves this horse. Of course, he won the Wave last Saturday. So there's a roughie for you, Hella Fast. I'm a massive fan of Cosmic Fire.
Yes.
Big question mark up to 1400, but he's just a racehorse, this fella. Last week when he picked himself back up off the ground and fought back to win the consolation when he was beaten cold. Street Chase comes through the same race as Hella Fast, so that Vorogue form I like. And of course, Tommy's riding Bohemia, and I do manage Tommy. So he's sort of earmarked her a long way out as the filly you want to be on. She broke the track record winning at Wyong, but she's drawn second to the outside. So she'll be spotting them all a head start, and it'll be a Herculean performance if she can win, but the market still likes her.
And that's the thing, the pattern on the day will determine whether these barriers are a bigger factor as what they look on paper. But initially you go barrier 20, no, I'll find reasons. But high pressure race, we saw a bounding duck through. The 3-year-old guineas will be running a good gallop. There's 18 of them, all there for $3 million. And that's what you generally get millions days, the speed of the race.
You get high pressure racing.
If you're good enough, you're good enough.
Which I love. That's the one day of the year you're guaranteed high pressure racing. There's no sit sprints and muddling tempos, so I like it.
Have you found anything else on the card?
I thought in the maiden, actually, the first race, if we want to get out and run in Volatile, he's a very lightly raced horse for Peter Snowden. He's been gelded during his spell. They've given him a couple of trials, and this has just been a target race, and he's come up with the perfect barrier and gets the first use of the track. So probably Volatile in the maiden to get you up and running. Sub-Zero
for me, the Stayers race. I like Belvedere Boys.
Yes.
Wet, dry. It's a winnable year this year. I think the horses that have run here previously, So United won the race last year. Not sure how he's going. Skylab at start 60, I think they're putting the blinkers on for the first time. He's won the race. He's been placed in the race. Again, there's question mark on how well he's going, and opted to go gear change for him. Miss Jolene's on a quick backup from a 3-wide, no-cover trip to win the Wave, but she's going well. I just think it sets up well for Belvedere Boys to win the 2,200-metre race. And your hot tip is you'll be singing along to Working Class Man.
I absolutely will.
That takes us away from what is a bumper episode of In the Box Seat. Enjoy Magic Millions Day. Make sure you're trackside here at Aquas Park.